Hey everybody, it's Ron, and every Monday through Thursday, we talk about how some event in business history reshaped the world. But on Fridays, we talk about something completely different. These are the stories that went completely off the rail. They may still have changed the business world, just not in the way anyone wanted. These are the business bloopers. It's 2009 and you're standing in the refrigerated aisle of a Safeway somewhere in suburban Chicago. Fluorescent lights, cold air, rows of milk, juice, and half-empty shelves from the morning rush. You reach for the orange juice you've bought 100 times before. Same store, same aisle, same habit. But it's gone. The carton says Tropicana, which is what you're looking for, but the orange with the straw, it's missing. The bold lettering is gone. Everything looks clean, white, minimal, generic. You pause. Is this a knockoff or a store brand or a different product? It isn't. The juice inside is exactly the same. Same oranges, same taste, same company. But shoppers don't know that yet. Within weeks, sales start sliding. Complaints flood in, social media piles on like it always does, and a redesign meant to feel modern suddenly feels invisible. Okay, how did we get here? From Business Basics, I'm Ron Trucks, and this is Business Bloopers, the weekly podcast where we unpack the business decisions that sounded smart until they weren't. Every Friday, I'll take you through a real story where something went off the rails. Sometimes it's hilarious, sometimes it's painful, but always it's a reminder that even smart people screw up in business, and we'll look at why that matters. By the late 2000s, the company named PepsiCo, which owned a lot of brands, had a problem that looked deceptively simple. One of their brands, Tropicana, was one of the most recognizable orange juice brands in the United States. At the time, Tropicana controlled roughly 40% of the U.S. orange juice market, making it the category leader by a wide margin. And it was easily recognized by its trademark imagery. The orange with a straw image wasn't just a logo, it was a shortcut. Shoppers didn't read the carton, they spotted it. Decades of shelf presence had trained people to grab it without thinking. Inside PepsiCo, that familiarity started to look like a liability. At the time, brands like Apple and Starbucks were stripping designs down, making them simpler and cleaner visually. Even Pepsi had just refreshed its own logo, reinforcing the idea that simpler meant smarter. Clean fonts and white space signaled premium. Focus groups told designers that the old Tropicana look felt dated. So PepsiCo hired the Arnell Group, a New York branding agency known for high-profile, minimalist redesigns of major consumer brands. The goal wasn't reinvention, it was refinement. Out went the orange with the straw stuck in it. In came a stark white carton, a glass of juice photographed straight on, and a new logo that rotated Tropicana, the name, vertically along one side. Internally, this felt bold and contemporary and sophisticated. The assumption was that brand loyalty lived in the name. The package, they just assumed it was just a wrapper. That assumption would not survive the grocery aisle.
Hey Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
The redesign launched nationally in early 2009. Almost immediately, sales dropped. Within 2 months, sales were down about 20%. Shoppers complained they couldn't find Tropicana on shelves at Safeway and Kroger and Walmart. Some thought the product had been discontinued. Others assumed it was a generic store brand that they were now seeing. The new design blended in instead of standing out. Feedback poured in through emails and call centers and online forums. Design blogs dissected the change, and marketing publications like Ad Age ran critiques. Even casual shoppers posted photos comparing the old and new cartons, asking why a trusted brand had erased itself. Within 2 months, the sales of Tropicana Pure Premium had fallen about 20%, costing PepsiCo about $35 million. Now, the juice hadn't changed. The supply chain hadn't changed. Advertising budgets were still intact. But visual recognition had collapsed. What PepsiCo learned the hard way was that grocery shopping isn't a branding seminar. It's pattern recognition under time pressure. When the visual cues disappear, loyalty doesn't activate.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Now, the good news in this situation is that PepsiCo moved pretty fast. Just weeks after defending the redesign publicly, the company reversed course. The orange with a straw returned to the carton. The old visual system was restored with only minor tweaks layered on top. Executives, they acknowledged that they had underestimated how much equity lived in the packaging itself. The redesign was quietly shelved. Arnell Group took the reputational hit, and Tropicana became a permanent case study in branding classrooms. The lesson stuck because the damage was visible and measurable. This wasn't a slow erosion, it was an immediate reaction in real stores with real shoppers making split-second decisions. Tropicana recovered. PepsiCo absorbed the loss, but the episode reset how companies talk about modernization. After 2009, fewer brands assumed they could change iconic packaging without serious testing. The blooper wasn't trying something new. It was forgetting that in a crowded aisle, familiarity is the feature.
Imagine home. The smell of coffee, the sound of a lawnmower, the sun's warmth on your face. Free to be yourself, surrounded by love that helps you grow. This is a place to call home. That's an American dream we all deserve. But in 50% of U.S. states, you could legally be denied housing if you are LGBTQ+. Get the facts and hear real stories at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Something I like to do with these business blooper stories is end by spending just a little bit of time looking at what actually went wrong. So in this case, what went wrong? Tropicana didn't misjudge the product. They misjudged how people shop. Grocery buying is fast, habitual, and visual. Most shoppers aren't reading labels or evaluating design theory. They're scanning for familiar cues under time pressure. The orange with the straw stuck into it wasn't decoration, it was a shortcut. Inside PepsiCo, the assumption was that brand loyalty lived in the name. But for millions of customers, the brand lived in the picture. When that picture disappeared, recognition broke before loyalty could kick in. The redesign also skipped a critical step: testing. Not with designers or focus groups, but in real stores with real shelves and real distractions. That's where visual equity either holds up or collapses. There's a reason some brands barely touch their visual identity at all. Coca-Cola has been using essentially the same script lettering and the same exact shade of red since the late 1800s. They've updated the packaging and bottles and campaigns, but the core mark stays put because it's doing a job. It signals trust before you even read the label. And let's be clear, the lesson here isn't to not modernize. It's that familiarity is a feature, especially when you already own the category. I'm Ron Trucks, and this is Business Bloopers, part of the daily business podcast lineup where we look at how business really works and sometimes how it really doesn't. New episodes drop every weekday with fun, full-length blooper stories like this one on Fridays, and a quick-hit business history episode every other day of the week. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen. And if you're enjoying the ride, please don't forget to leave a quick review. It helps more people find the story behind the business. And if you're really wanting to actually understand business without the fluff or the buzzwords or the MBA language, start by visiting us at bsnsdailypodcast.com.